What's up, and welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA, the biggest stories with the local experts. I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, also host of Locked On Rockets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Today, we'll be chatting with Cyrus Saatsaz from Locked On Warriors as the Warriors hold on in Game 1 on the road against the Memphis Grizzlies, taking a 117-116 win to take a 1-0 series lead in the Western Conference semifinals. No Draymond Green as he gets ejected early in this game. How were the Warriors able to hold on and take the W? But first, a quick message from our friends over at Built Bar, because when it comes to protein bars, you got to check out Built Bar. They're the #1 protein bar on the market. Every single bar is coated in 100% delicious chocolate. They're not gritty or chalky like other protein bars are out there. They've got so many amazing flavors to choose from. You got salted caramel, cookies and cream, raspberry, strawberry, mint brownie, my personal favorite, coconut brownie chunk. You can't go wrong with a single bar on their menu. Every single bar is low cal, low sugar, high protein, high fiber. Amazing if you're on a keto diet. Amazing if you're trying to cut back a little bit, lose a little bit of weight. You can check them out. Just go to built.com and use promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your very next order of the best tasting protein bars on the market. Again, that's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com. Joining us now is Cyrus Saatsaz from Locked On Warriors off the heels of such an exciting finish in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals between the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies. You can follow him on Twitter, of course, at Dog Surf Roadshow. Now, Cyrus, the end of this game was absolutely bananas, coming down to the wire, and who else but Klay Thompson to come up in the clutch, sinking the would-be game-winning three for the Warriors. We won't talk about the missed free throws after that, after that three-pointer make, but just can you talk about the poise, not just in the final moments from this game from the Warriors, but just the poise throughout this game, a team that really looks like they've been there, they've dealt with this adversity before, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was look, I did a post-game segment with my friend Larry Kruger. First of all, my Twitter account currently is hacked. So if people go to @DogSurfRoadshow and whatever's going on there, I pray Twitter support helps me out. But anyways, in regards to the game, I really felt like, and look, I'm not as impartial to this as you are, Jackson, but I really felt like the Warriors were playing a 6-on-5 game, man. They were playing the Grizzlies 5 plus the officials. I really cannot believe Draymond Green got suspended. I don't know if that's a subject you want to say for later, but regardless, yeah, the Warriors, between the constant whistles, which are bad enough, and I feel like it's bad for the entire postseason. I really wish they would just stop blowing that whistle. Let them play. It's ruining the flow of the game, the fun of the game. But in this game, to take Draymond Green out with the flagrant 2 was insane. I mean, he's arguably the most important player beside maybe Steph and Curry, but those two are 1-2, however order you want to put it. And so they had to have poise to come through. And obviously you had Gary Payton II, who just came up big time and time and again. I mean, the fact that Steve Kerr started him was very reassuring because he's usually very slow to react when it comes to roster changes. He made a huge change there with the starting lineup by going small. And you're right, Klay Thompson hit the big 3, even though he only finished 3, I believe, of 10 from 3 for the game. It was a big one. He hit a huge one at the end there. To miss those free throws was crazy. I criticized the officials. They missed a blatant out of bounds call that should have gone to the Warriors. Instead, it went to that jump ball at the end of the game. So yeah, poise was important. Steph and Curry had a huge game, but the poise of Jordan Poole, that's not championship poise because he wasn't a part of those 3 championship teams. So this is a young up and comer who's still only 22 years of age. Who led the Warriors in scoring with 31. He also poured in 8 rebounds, which was tied for the team lead. And I think really when you look at the stats of this game, the one that sticks out to me the most is rebounding, because that was supposed to be where the Grizzlies have the biggest edge, especially with offensive rebounding. They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the game. And they were tied with offensive rebounds at 16 apiece. And the Warriors won the rebounding battle 51-47. So, and they were small the entire time. It didn't take a basketball savant to look on that floor and see, wow, the Warriors are a small team out there. Yet they still out-rebounded the Grizzlies 51-47. And all those things put together played such a huge part in the Warriors winning. I mean, I really did not expect the Warriors to win that game. Yet here they are up 1-0.
Yeah, it was, again, a very, very exciting game between these two teams, finishing, obviously, the Warriors coming out on top 117-116. You mentioned the Draymond Green situation, obviously getting, whistled. They go back, they review the foul, they issue him a flagrant 2. I was convinced. I thought they were going to come away ruling it a flagrant one. I think we can probably agree there that it should have been a flagrant one.
Yes.
Excessive contact. The flagrant two, I thought, was a bit curious. And for this Warriors team to lose Draymond in the second quarter and then to still be able to come away with the win, kind of mounting that adversity a little bit and doing it by committee, especially on the defensive end, really is a testament to what they were able to accomplish in this game.
It really is. And you're right. What I expect from NBA officials is objectivity. And I pose this question again, and I'm going to bring this up on Locked On Warriors tomorrow is why is there a double standard in terms of Chris Paul, for example, who has a very long track record of dirty plays? Just in this series, he got a flagrant run for kicking someone else in the groin. The NBA had to issue a statement saying they messed up with a call at the end of the last game where he elbowed a player right in the face. Yet Chris Paul continues to have this golden boy image. Yet Draymond Green, who because maybe he's more vocal than other players, he has this stigma attached to him for some reason. But regardless, officials, in my opinion, should not be biased. That goes against what they're supposed to be doing. And they're unfortunately really taking up a lot of what I'm talking about right now, we're talking about, and that should not be the case. But in regard to this game, look, Draymond's going to be back in game 2. And I really do feel like the Grizzlies had to win this game if they're going to have a chance in this series, just because all of their regular season effort was supposed to result in home court advantage. That's gone. So the Warriors now have home court advantage, and the Warriors also have a defensive identity. When Draymond Green is playing, in the starting lineup we saw tonight, you had Draymond, Gary Payton II, who is really starting to make a name for himself as a defender. When you look at his stats of him defending Ja Morant's numbers are not great when Gary Payton II guards him. But then you also have Andrew Wiggins, who had a huge game tonight. Maybe not so much statistically. 17 points is about on par for him in terms of scoring, but he grabbed 8 rebounds. And he was making huge defensive plays. He was oftentimes assigned to either Ja, or he was also assigned to another player that the Grizzlies rely on from scoring, and that's Desmond Bane, who in 32 minutes of play was only 1 for 5 from 3, only had 9 points. And a huge reason for that was because a longer, more athletic, and a really underrated defender, in my opinion, in Andrew Wiggins, was on him contesting all of those three-point shots. The Warriors made it a mission that if the Grizzlies were going to beat them, they were not going to beat him with Desmond Bane and to a lesser extent Dillon Brooks hitting open threes. That's why you saw Jaren Jackson Jr. scoring 33 tonight on 6 of 9 shooting from 3, which is absurd. You saw another bench player for them in DeAnthony Melton scoring 14 points on 3 of 6 shooting from 3. So the Warriors made it a mission again to take out their 2 most lethal 3-point shooters, certainly in Desmond Bane and to a lesser extent in Dillon Brooks. And it really paid off because the defense was a difference in this game, and the Warriors now have a 1-0 lead.
This was a Golden State Warriors team that was one of the top defensive teams, if I'm not mistaken, throughout the regular season, and for good reason. Still managing to make their mark on this game defensively without Draymond Green kind of anchoring that team defense for them. Now, you mentioned kind of the game plan here, forcing the other guys to have those difficult shots and not let them get going from 3 and Dillon Brooks, Desmond Bane. But how did you feel that the Warriors did against Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. here? Any adjustments that you'd like to see moving forward against those two guys specifically, as they both went off for 30 plus in this game, 34 for Ja Morant, 33 for Triple J. Any adjustments there, or are you kind of content with the Warriors game plan to let those two guys kind of get their shots off and then, force the rest of the team into, struggles from beyond the arc?
I really think, and again, this is just based off my observation skills and what I'm hearing from various sources, but I really do think the Warriors are going to continue this plan and force Memphis to adjust simply because the Grizzlies are, we've heard this over and over again throughout the season. They're one of the deepest teams in the NBA, and I think it's a very justified claim for anyone saying so. So the Warriors decided they're going to let Ja Morant shoot outside. I mean, Ja Morant had a lot of open looks from 3. He hit his first 2, so the strategy wasn't looking good at that point. But then for the rest of the game, Ja Morant from 3 was 2 for 9. He finished 4 for 11 from beyond the arc. And my guess is they're going to continue letting Jaren Jackson Jr. do what he does. I really would not expect him to shoot 6 of 9 from 3 again. That's a really high clip, even by his standards. Ultimately, I mean, if you watch the Grizzlies play, Desmond Bane is vitally crucial for their success. And the fact that the Warriors limited him to just 9 points, again, on 1 of 5 shooting from 3, 3 for 10 shooting for the game, is testament. I mean, I think if there's any adjustment, it's going to be maybe trying to limit Brandon Clark a little more. He was getting a lot of big rebounds, a lot of second chance points. He was +6 on the plus minus, which was second on the team overall, behind just Dillon Brooks, who really didn't put up a lot of points, but he was still making a positive impact in the game. But I think this is the strategy. I think the strategy really is Ja Morant. You are, the new up and coming rising superstar in this game. Prove it with your outside shooting. Let's see you beat us with those 3-point shots, because we're not going to let you penetrate and destroy us with these huge monster dunks like he was putting down on Minnesota. And we saw in game 1 that that's the strategy. They're like, they don't want him attacking the paint because they know everything collapses and opens up for those outside shooters in the process. So they'd rather have Ja have his moments with open, easier outside looks. He'll still get his points, but he misses a lot too. As evident again by finishing 2 of 9 from 3 after making the first 2. So outside of Brandon Clark, and Kyle Anderson's always a player that scares me with the Grizzlies. He's someone that could just really go off. It shocked me that he only scored 2 points in this game. So game 2 is going to be interesting. I'd love to hear other people's perspectives on that as well. But game 2, it's a must win for the Grizzlies, because if they lose that game, I could see a sweep. I could see this series being over. But defensively, I think the Warriors did what they wanted to do, which is force Ja to shoot outside shots, let Jaren Jackson, have his day, and prevent Desmond Bane and Dillon Brooks from going off.
The Warriors taking control of the series with a Game 1 win on the road against the Memphis Grizzlies. Does this mean the Warriors are on their way to yet another semifinals series victory? You're going to have us covered for all of that and more, of course, over at Locked On Warriors. Cyrus, appreciate you stopping by Locked On NBA with me.
Anytime, Jackson. Thank you so much.